Yeah, this is the shortest episode. Well, we're back.
We're back again.
Yeah, turns out we found out the next momentous episode of Talk Sauce. This one.
100 and a half.
Yeah, 100 part 2.
Yeah.
What number is this officially? 103, 104, 102?
So we did 69, then we did 69 and a half.
I thought it was 69 part. I thought we did episode like 73, 69 part 2.
Yeah. Well, we skipped 69, then we went back to it.
Yeah.
And then we did 69 and 69 and a half. And then we continued. So that was one additional one. And then this would be 2. So I guess we're on, like 103 or something.
Yeah, nice. I like, I think it's important that we do these far enough apart that people forget that we skip an episode and then go back to it retroactively, you know?
I think it's because we need to do, like for the important ones, like this one and like 69, you need to do something big, right? Which is this for us.
Yeah.
And we just can't like schedule it any time. And I don't want to just stop doing the podcast or like try and like do a bunch to like get done by a specific time.
It's like a fun bit kind of. And then it's also like just practical because it is like, oh, you have to like take off work and come to New York to record an episode
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday. We're both off work.
It is. It's July 3rd.
It's July 3rd.
What are we doing? So what, like, if you as would you call yourself a New Yorker?
Yeah.
Okay. You as a New Yorker, what's like the quintessential 4th of July activity?
I don't fucking know, man. Max, if you want to chime in here, if you like, what do you think?
I think it would just be like get on anybody's rooftop and drink and watch whatever fireworks. But you gotta be close to the waterfront.
That's kind of what I think. Cause like on my roof, you can see the fireworks, but it's not like amazing. I know Greenpoint's supposed to be a good spot. We were talking about going to a Yankee game during the day, potentially. Like that feels like America's shit, you know? Yeah, because Coney Island's the hot dog eating contest, which sounds like
Did you hear
a
Joey
blast.
Chestnut got banned?
Because he's doing
signed
impossible,
with, like,
hot dog.
That's crazy.
I love
dude.
that.
It's so
I
funny.
love that. By the way, this is a podcast for Talk Sauce.
By Talk Sauce.
Yeah, I feel like the big holidays that you like 4th of July, the fireworks show. So it seems like a big holiday in New York. New Year's Eve, same thing. I feel like you kind of want to get the fuck out of the way
just do the
a
same.
little bit.
I guess that's kind of how it is. Like when South by Southwest comes to Austin, like I want to do some of the stuff, but I'm also like, oh God, the traffic's going to be terrible.
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
Like, cause Coney Island, which also is like a genuinely like kind of fun, silly place to go to. The hot dog eating contest, which on paper sounds kind of awesome, right? Like it's supposed to be a fucking nightmare. Like, dude, it's so crowded and it's hot.
Also, just imagine watching a man eat like 70 hot dogs.
And it's like so hot. Like, like eating.
That's got to be hard to watch, dude.
Yeah, and they're not like enjoying eating the hot dogs. Like if I was watching someone eat 70 hot dogs, but they looked like they were enjoying each individual hot dog.
We should do it. We should do a hot dog eating contest where you have to look like you like it. And it's like kind of a non-biased judge who there's like the judge who's counting.
You don't look like you're enjoying it.
Have a good time. Yeah. What I don't like about the hot dog eating contest is, have you seen how they take the buns separately and they like dunk them in water? It's
so gross, bro.
I think you should. That's a good thought. We should have or we should just have a contest where you eat one hot dog, but it's whoever looks like they're enjoying it the most wins.
No, it's however many hot dogs you could eat while looking like you're enjoying it. So it's not timed. You can last however long you need to. Weeks. I'm talking, I don't know how long, but no dunking that shit in water. You have to apply at least one condiment. At least one.
I'd say 2 minimum. What's your condiment of choice?
On a hot dog?
Yeah.
Am I one condiment or it doesn't matter?
So what's like your mix? Like if you get a hot dog and you have all of the condiments available, what's your go-to?
I went up to a lake house in Massachusetts last weekend. We cooked a bunch of hot dogs and I was putting mayonnaise on the bun, ketchup,
dude, that's
Dijon mustard.
Mayonnaise on a hot dog sounds crazy.
Dude, mayonnaise is good on fucking everything. Mayonnaise is always good. If you don't think mayonnaise sounds good, go fuck yourself. I love mayonnaise. I grew up in a big mayonnaise house. So like we put We would put mayonnaise on everything. My dad would put like mayonnaise in his peanut butter banana sandwiches and shit.
Would he actually?
Yeah, that's how Elvis did it, or whatever. But
Did Elvis do that?
yeah, according to my dad.
Big mayonnaise guy? Is that real? Or did he make it up?
Yeah, some people like mayonnaise in a peanut butter banana sandwich. I personally don't. That's like crossing the line.
Okay. Anyway,
But
so what else? What?
On a hot dog, how
Yeah.
I would eat hot dogs as a little kid is I would do ketchup, mayo, and melted American cheese. And that's kind of like hot
Cheese.
dog is one of those things where it's like it kind of gets ingrained in you and that's how you want it forever. It's like to me, like the best hot dog, and that's objectively probably like nasty to a lot of people, but that's how I grew up eating them. So it's kind of
That's
like that's
fair.
like a hot dog.
I always do mustard and relish.
No ketchup.
No. My
Man.
dad, so I guess it's a similar thing. My dad was always like, it's a sin to put ketchup on a hot dog.
Yeah, people are like that. Why though? Why?
I don't really, but I bet if I grew up eating ketchup on a hot dog, I'd like it. But now I just hate, like even watching someone else.
Dude,
do it.
next time you guys have a cookout and I'm in town, I gotta go and I'm just gonna do mayonnaise on the bun, no mustard.
won't let
See
you
what
in the
your
city.
dad says.
That always cracks me up how when we've been to Buffalo and they like don't give you ranch for chicken wings.
I don't like
It's like, oh,
ranch
they'll
on
kick it.
chicken wings.
I like blue
anyways.
cheese now.
I'm
I
a blue
grew
cheese
up.
man.
I think it's like you're more mature once you start liking blue cheese over ranch.
Oh, it is like
Yeah.
you're refined. Your
Yeah.
palate's refined.
yeah,
now.
you have a sense of taste.
Do you still eat the wings the way they do in Buffalo, where you like smash it?
I do, but sometimes they're too hot. Like sometimes I do that and like my fingers start to burn, but I always do when I get a flat. I typically use both hands and like push in, and then you can just go.
I do
Just
the
slurp it
push
off.
move that
It's
AJ
delicious.
taught us in Buffalo, and if I can, I would only eat flats and do it that way. I think it's efficient. You get the most meat. It's kind of fun, to eat them that way. I think like it's a bit more destructive, kind of. It's like you're putting on a show a little bit for people.
Yeah. Gosh, I totally just lost my train of thought. But
we were
yeah,
talking about
chicken wings,
mayonnaise. We were talking about chicken
hot
wings.
dogs.
We were talking about hot dogs, blue cheese.
blue cheese. I don't remember. We can move on.
Okay. Question. Arnold
right.
Palmer.
Yes.
What sweet tea or unsweet tea?
That's a good question. I actually don't know how it's typically made.
I think unsweet tea.
Probably, right?
I feel like unsweet tea because my family is sweet tea because we have high sugar tolerance,
Mm.
But I feel like at like Trophy Club, it was unsweet tea. And
I-
every once in a while, they'd throw in pink lemonade instead of the
Oh,
yellow
dude, that's
lemonade.
a fancy Arnold
Yeah,
Palmer.
dude.
If it has pink
If they're
lemonade.
throwing pink lemonade into an Arnold Palmer, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah. See,
So-
there we go.
yeah, thank you. We got it back. You guys got a little pink lemonade Arnold Palmer content.
Uh-huh.
So this place, Wingstop. I
yeah.
might have already told you about this before, but forgive me if I have.
Uh-huh.
But they give you the option to like either get flats or drums when
Yeah.
you go. And I would go with my old roommate Cole all the time.
In
and-
Austin?
Yeah, in Austin. And he was like you, where he just wanted flats all the time. So
Mhm.
we went and he ordered his with all flats, and I wanted a mixture of the two. And they give me all drums. So I guess they had a pack of like 20 wings or whatever that they like threw in there. And they just gave him all of the flats and me all of the drums because they didn't specify. And I was like, you can't just give me all drums. That's
Yeah, because I
insane.
didn't. You have to
Yeah.
assume.
You
Like
can't
I
just
think
assume I want all drums.
I prefer flats, but you need some drummies in there too. Like
Yeah.
you it's like you can't appreciate the good times without the bad times. Like you need the perspective of the drum for when you get a flat.
And I still
And you're
really
like, this
like a
is
drum.
nice.
But
I
it's
do
just
too.
nice.
I don't dislike
when
a
you get
drum.
the flat, you can just like
It's
clean
better
it.
eating.
Like,
It's
yeah,
better
You'll
eating.
have just a bare bone in like
Yes, yeah.
10 seconds.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
Yeah, just one bite. It is fun. Just seeing if you can just get it all in one bite.
Yeah, and if you do it the way we learned in Buffalo, you typically can.
Yeah, I like doing the dual
Like
hand
you're
method.
playing an accordion or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, the accordion method is
Yeah,
what they
you
call
pull it in and
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Dude, the chicken wings in Buffalo lived up to the hype though.
They
like
did.
for real.
They really
I thought
did.
I was like, oh, it'll be fine. Like they'll be good, I'm sure. But everywhere is good chicken wings. No, Buffalo.
They have that extra crunch.
There's something
There's
about
something
it. man.
about it that AJ said that they like double fry it, but I'm like, why don't they just do that everywhere then. In that
Maybe
case.
the city of Buffalo has like a patent.
Yeah, on
it.
double frying. Patent
You're
lawyers
le-
show up in your office if you try and put it back in.
Yeah, like, excuse
back
me.
in the
It's like, you know how you can't say it's champagne if it doesn't come from a specific part of
Yeah.
France. You can't have it be a buffalo wing if it's not from Buffalo, because Buffalo is the double fry. So you're really just eating chicken wings anywhere else. But when you're in Buffalo, you're eating a buffalo wing. And sauce, it doesn't matter. You're eating buffalo barbecue wings.
Wow.
Buffalo garlic
Buffalo
parmesan
is it a
wings.
buffalo wing or is it
Doble
just
buffalo.
a buffalo?
It's a
Does it
buffalo
cancel
buffalo
out?
wing
Okay,
for sure. Yeah. Or it's like multiplying one by itself, where it just is
like-
still one. So
Yeah.
maybe it is a buffalo wing, you know?
The funniest thing about Buffalo, I thought, was like the airport. It's a very small airport, and they have, I don't know if you remember, it's kind of
I
like this
do remember it.
mural
Yeah,
thing on this like
uh-huh.
round part
By
of the
security,
building.
yeah.
Where and it
Uh-huh.
has like, I don't think it was there actually last time I was there.
Oh,
They might
really?
have changed it. I don't know, because I was looking for it specifically and I didn't
Yeah.
see it. But they had this like mural thing that had all of like the significant moments in the history of Buffalo, and there was like one that was just like 1964, the founding of the Buffalo Wing. And it was insane. Like
What's
that was
like-
the biggest front and center thing that they
What's
had.
the equivalent of like, if that is like maybe perhaps the most culturally significant contribution Buffalo has provided, or like in the city of Buffalo, what's like the Austin equivalent? Like Willie Nelson moves back to Texas? Like, what is it? Or is it like, what would the Austin one be?
Like
In and Out moves to
biggest-
Austin.
the biggest impact that Austin
Yeah, like
has had?
cultural impact on the city. Like, what would it doesn't have to be food necessarily, but what would it be like 1973?
Oh, so if I have an Austin airport mural,
Yeah, what would you
you're
include?
saying?
I guess.
That's a good question. I think you got to do Torchy's tacos on there. I feel
Yeah,
like it's very
totally,
important.
totally. It doesn't have to be food though. I don't know.
Yeah, but I know.
but for sure.
but Torchy's tacos.
Torchy's Tacos,
I feel like I don't know the history of
Austin City
one.
Limits.
Yeah.
Austin City Limits is probably a more significant
festival.
cultural thing.
I don't know, man.
Um,
Torchy's is pretty good. South by Southwest.
The shooter
we
at the
had-
University of Texas.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's like football and stuff. Nothing as interesting as the Buffalo Wing.
No, that's like pretty specific and unique, you know.
Yeah. There's barbecue. I feel like barbecue is the biggest thing that people come to
Barbecue
Austin
or Mexican food, like migas. Like
Mm.
the miga is invented.
for. 5 years later, we made 2 of them.
We asked
There's-
ourselves, can you have more than one miga? We proudly present migas.
Yeah. That's a
I
good
had
one.
migas for the first time in Austin. I never had that before. It was like I went in college one time and stayed on someone's house on Lake Travis, and their mom made migas, and they were good.
Yeah. I think Tex-Mex is like my favorite food.
It's
definitely
definitely
up
the
there.
food I miss like the most. Like I crave it all the time. We have one good Tex-Mex spot in New York, but it's like in Texas, just having it everywhere. And like the Tex-Mex spot in New York that I love, it's called Yellow Rose. It's very good.
That's the name of the strip club in Austin.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing. You have to pay for chips and salsa.
Dude, that pisses me off.
I knew
I
it
went
would.
to this.
I knew
I
it
went to
would.
this actually because I'm a big Tex-Mex guy, and Alex and I went to this kind of like more upscale Mexican place, and they made you pay for chips and salsa. there.
You
And I was
shouldn't have
and
to.
this is one that it was like $25 for a plate. Like and usually Tex-Mex is pretty cheap. Like that's kind of the whole
Yeah,
appeal.
sure.
And it's like kind of similar food, but then they bring out their freaking salsa, and it's like $10 for a sampler of salsa.
That
I'm
is
like, are you kidding
ridiculous.
me? That the whole point of Tex-Mex is you walk in, you get way too full on chips and salsa, and then
And
you
you
like
don't eat all your
You
fajitas.
force feed yourself all of your fajitas afterwards, and you feel terrible.
Yeah.
that's like that's what the experience is.
It's part of the
supposed to be.
charm. But yeah,
Yeah.
they do charge for chips and salsa. I don't drink anymore, but it's one of the only places in New York that Shiner Bock.
Really, they don't have. I guess that's
A couple
Texas
places do, but
that's interesting.
that was one of my favorite things to do in Texas was have Shiner Bock.
It's interesting because as like a Texan, and I've never really lived outside of Texas for extended periods of time, I just feel like everywhere has Shiner Bock.
It's a great beer. It should be
but
everywhere.
I assumed that it would just be everywhere outside of Texas.
I remember like when I went to Texas for Christmas, and it was the first time I'd been there when I wasn't drinking. I was like, I can't wait to have Shiner Bock's non-alcoholic beer. They're like, we don't fuck around with that shit.
Who do you think we are?
Yeah, and the fucking woke ass beer.
Yeah. You're telling me you want us to make beer without alcohol?
I like Lone Star a lot. I think Lone Star is a good beer.
Yeah, I'm not too crazy about it.
Lone
anymore.
Star, it's when I was drinking, I had like a rule with myself. If I saw Lone Star at a bar, I would order a Lone Star
Yeah.
because it is like a Texas beer.
Yeah.
You know, and Lone Star's in a lot more places here than Shiner.
Really?
For sure. But
That's
I feel like we didn't drink Lone Stars in
No,
Texas.
not
Like, I
at
don't think
all.
I ever drank it till I left Texas.
I don't think so. I feel like I saw it more in Austin than Dallas for some
Yeah,
reason.
that's Dallas. Do you feel like Austin is a more like of an anomaly city in Texas or Dallas?
Probably Austin. I mean, I don't know. I feel like each of the major cities in Texas are pretty different from each
But
other.
Dallas doesn't really feel like Texas to me. When you're like in Dallas, it doesn't feel very Texasy.
Yeah. I
The
don't
only thing that feels Texasy is the flag.
So what
like-
like when you say Texasy, what are you talking
I
about?
don't
Like cowboy
know.
hats
Like
and-
Dallas just feels like it could be anywhere. Like you could put Dallas in any other state and it would like make sense, I think. Like it feels a bit more like I don't want to say cookie cuttery, but just like vanilla. There's less of a vibe to Dallas.
yeah, I
Then
guess I
like
see what you're
Austin
saying. Yeah.
has a very specific vibe that I think only works because it's in Texas. So it's this like strange fucking oasis of like
Yeah.
whatever. Like
Yeah, I think part of
liberalness and like
I think part of what makes it how it is that it's like the one liberal city.
I concur.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's the one liberal city in Texas, so all the fucking weirdos and shit that like didn't like living in Texas like moved there and like
Mhm.
kind of made it this like strange cool place, you
Yeah.
know. Houston, I've honestly never really been to Houston. I lived in Texas
I've
for
been
most of
a
my
few
life. I've
times,
never
but
been.
I haven't like spent much time.
I've been
in
to
Houston.
Hobby,
Hobby?
the airport, Houston Hobby.
It's called Hobby?
Yeah, no
pretty
weird.
cool.
Yeah, I think it's H.W. Bush. So I wonder if like Hobby's like an abbreviation because I think it's named after him.
Mm.
Yeah. Amarillo feels very like specifically
been to
Texas.
Amarillo?
Yeah, I've been to Amarillo.
How come?
Driving from Colorado when I was in college. One
Mm.
time Kelly and I spent the night there and like got food and
I don't
like
think
I've
I've ever
driven
been
through
to
it. a bunch.
Amarillo.
It
I've
feels
driven to Colorado a lot, but I don't think we ever went like through the panhandle.
I've driven it so many times that I would take different routes just to mix
Because
it up.
typically, don't you just go like
Straight up through the Oklahoma, through Kansas, and then when you're halfway through Kansas, you take like a hard left.
Yeah.
It's like when you drive from Dallas to Denver or Boulder, you're basically on two roads the whole time. You take
Yeah.
one highway up, you take a left, and then you're on another highway. But I would take that. That was the fastest way. So I'd take that the most. But sometimes I'd feel like mixing it up, and you could like drive south from Boulder, Denver, and then go through the Oklahoma Panhandle, then the Texas Panhandle. And there
a lot of
was like a
panhandles.
way that took you through New Mexico into the Texas Panhandle. So
Mm.
there are like quite a few different ways you could go, but the fastest was through Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
It's
when I
actually a
did the
pretty
most.
quick drive.
It's not as bad as it seemed.
I think it was
felt
like 10 hours.
No,
from-
it's a little further than that. It's like 12.
yeah, 10 or 12. I
Um,
think one time I went skiing, but it was like a little further south, I want to say, than like most of the stuff. So it was
Were
a
you in
little quicker.
Colorado?
Yeah, I was in it was called like Wolf Creek or something.
Max, do you know it?
It's by Durango, it's the southwestern corner near.
He's from Colorado.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Oh, you're Denver, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. People are like, what's a max? Yeah. Denver Boulder was like 12, but that probably is quite a bit closer. Yeah.
I like Colorado. I was considering like strongly moving there. Well, not strongly, but I always kind of had like a romantic idea, I think, just because I love like, I think both the winter and the summer can be so fun in Colorado.
the
Because like
best.
I've gone on a lot of ski trips there, and then I've been in the summer before and just like done like hiking and rafting, and it's just beautiful there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like Denver, but I think I like the city of Austin. I
I think Denver's
more.
okay as a city.
Yeah.
I think Colorado is a better state than Denver is a city.
Yeah, I think like I don't know, this is an outside perspective, but it felt like you need to really be moving there for like the stuff to do, not necessarily the city.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't move to Colorado because it's like a
To
cool
live in Denver.
city.
Yeah.
And Denver's not an uncool city, but it's not my favorite city. But you asked me when we were golfing if I like would ever think about leaving New York or if I would. I don't, but I do have this idea of like, oh, I could go back to Colorado.
Yeah.
You know, like in the back of my head, every once in a while, I'll like indulge it and like live that fantasy.
Yeah.
Of like, and then I'm like, I think I would go nuts after like a year, you know, like
Yeah.
because the New York thing just kind of like ruins everywhere else for you.
Yeah. Did you ski a lot when you were
Not
in
as much as
college,
I
or-
should. I came to an interesting realization about myself that like I've just finally like admitted to myself. Which when I was up at a lake house in Massachusetts, I love being near nature and I love knowing that doing stuff in nature is an option, but I don't think I really give a shit about doing things in nature.
Really?
Like I don't think I care about camping. I like skiing, but I don't like skiing like you guys like skiing.
Mm.
Like I could go to Colorado and know skiing is there and ski for like 2 hours and be like, yeah, I'm good. You know, I don't think I love it like you guys do, or like even like nature that much, but I like being near it and knowing it's there.
Yeah, you like having the
You
option.
know what I mean?
Check it out every once in a while. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Like I love like looking at mountains and I love like
Yeah.
knowing they're there. Like, but I'm like, I don't want to fucking ski all day, you know, and sit by
Really?
fire
Yeah.
and shit. You know, I like hiking's probably my favorite because it's the least commitment of like all of them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I would probably like some of the water stuff, but and it's not even that I dislike skiing. It's just like I don't know if I really care about it. that
Yeah, I
much.
mean it is super expensive, and then it's like a lot of work to like everything is you have to go there, you have to rent all your stuff, you have to like get a place, you have to
yeah,
it's like hard work the whole time you're doing it, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like whenever we've gone, like you've skied a lot and like we've had a
oh,
lot of fun.
because I like skiing,
Mhm.
but like I could go either way. Like I don't need like I could
You're
do a
not gonna, like-
Colorado trip and be like I don't need to ski once,
Okay.
or I
And-
could do a Colorado trip and be like I'll ski 4 days. Like
okay.
I don't. I'd probably if my ideal Colorado trip would probably be like 1 day of skiing,
Mm.
you know, and then
Okay.
the rest of the time we're fucking around doing like other shit.
Yeah.
You know, just like being in Colorado.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I hey, it's
because
good that you're
you like love to ski.
I
You
love
know,
it. Yeah,
And I'm
it's
like
like-
I don't love it like that. I like it a lot, but
because
you
for
like
me,
love
I'm
it.
like I make it a priority to try and go every year. to
Yeah,
go
I
ski.
haven't
Yeah.
skied since we went like 4 years ago. I haven't been to
Yeah.
Colorado since, which is a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I go there pretty much just like once a year, but I actually did go in the summer. And then
Summer's the
also-
best, and summer's
I
better
went,
than the winter.
We
in
went
Colorado.
Martin Luther King weekend
Oh, nice.
this year, and it was so cool.
Is that when you saw the Strokes? Didn't you
No,
see
that
the
was in the
Strokes at Red
summer.
Rocks?
Yeah,
oh,
that
that
was
was
in
in
the
the summer,
summer.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Red
That
Rocks
was
in
sick. Dude,
January
it was-
would stink.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. That was Red Rocks is so cool.
It's
dude.
it's the coolest venue in the world.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I heard, didn't you? There's one in Washington, I think.
The
that's-
Gorge.
Yeah.
I
you
went
been
to
there?
a concert there. One of the times I went to go visit my family, me and my brother's friends went to go see Tame Impala.
Was it
at the
kind of a
Gorge.
similar vibe to Red
I mean,
Rocks,
it's
or-
like not carved in the side of a mountain, but it's basically over a gorge where it's like a beautiful view, and it's like
Mm,
it's the second coolest concert
Okay.
venue I've been to behind Red Rocks.
yeah, I loved Red Rocks. It
It's
was
sick.
awesome.
It's really cool because literally carved in a mountain.
Yeah.
You know that I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. So I think I told you I went to Zion, and I went to the Hoover Dam, then I went to the Grand Canyon and went to Zion.
Sure.
And we did this hike where we hiked like basically I think it took the whole thing was like 7 hours, I want to say.
Yeah.
And we hiked like down into the Grand Canyon and then back up. And it was unbelievable.
sounds
like
cool.
the views of it were crazy. But the thing was, so it was like you had to bring your own, there was no water on the trail, and you had to bring your own water down. So we brought like a ton of water, and we thought it was enough.
Yeah, all
And
8
we
of
went-
you guys.
Well, no, it was there were only 4 of us. It was my
Uh-huh.
parents and one of my brothers, and we hiked down, and we went down like 3 miles, and then as we start to go back up, we're like, oh man, we're like kind of low on water, and it wasn't that hot, but it was just super dry, so you
Oh,
get like
dude,
parched,
yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And it was like 85, and then we're going back, and then we're like maybe like a mile or a little less from the top, and we're like out of water. We're like,
Oh.
oh no. So my parents, they weren't like struggling, but they were like going slower than my younger brother and I. So we like sprinted to the top of the Grand Canyon basically. And there was a water station at the top. So we like filled up all the water
And brought him
then-
down.
Yeah, and we brought it down. And then there were like random people who were like, there was this guy, and my mom was like, dude, I think that guy's like gonna pass out or
Oh
something. 'cause
my
he was like
God.
red. So we gave him a bottle of water and he's like, oh my God. And my brother and I just started like giving water to a bunch of people that
Dude,
were
yeah,
down.
like not being
Yeah.
prepared and being like, I'm on the side of a fucking mountain.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
It was insane.
die.
Dude, he hiked like down a mile, and I think the problem is it's so easy to go down because the actual like distance that you're traveling is not very far. Like
Yeah.
it would. I think what I was saying is the hike was like 6 miles or something.
Yeah.
But the real thing is like it's a huge elevation change. So I think you go down, and it's really easy, and then you look up and you're like, oh no,
You're like,
like I'm
"Oh
gonna.
my
But this guy was like in jeans, like in a t-shirt, no water.
This is a Planet Fitness ass
dude,
hiking gear.
Oh my God, he looked rough. And then yeah, there was another group that like we had to give water to.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but then we did this other hike in. Did I tell you about the hikes?
no.
No. Okay, cool.
You told me you went to
didn't know-
these
I didn't know if
places,
I was
but you left
repeating.
out all the
Yeah,
details.
sweet. I saved them for now. But we did this other hike. It was called the Narrows in Zion. Have you been to Zion before?
No, but I've seen pictures
Dude,
of it.
It is so cool.
It's insane.
There's just all these like rock formation. Like, how did that happen? It'll just be this like super tall, narrow.
yeah.
Like, but we did this one hike called the Narrows and it was like basically you kind of go into this valley thing, but there's like a shallow river
yeah.
going all the way through. And we got like worried about not having enough water, so we brought so much water,
like
to
too
it.
much that
Yeah,
time.
like when we came back, I think we had like 5 full bottles of water. Like still, like the backpack was still heavy,
oh my
full
god.
of water. It was pretty funny. But yeah, this hike was cool. It was like they gave you like water hiking boots and like neoprene socks. then-
Neoprene.
It's like the material wetsuits made out of.
Oh,
know,
so were your feet like hot?
Well, it was like pretty cool. Like the water was cold.
Oh,
so-
nice.
but-
okay.
But you're basically like, walking through water the whole time, and there were points when it was like up to like maybe your chest.
That's
It-
kinda
it was-
sick,
It was really
dude.
cool.
I
And
would be into that hike. That sounds fun.
you would like it. It was sick.
I
And
would do the other hike too. I like hiking.
hiking's really fun.
Yeah. 'Cause also like you hike and you're like,
Didn't you
"Alright."
do like a 14er?
Yes, yeah, me, Kelly, and a couple other people who probably wouldn't appreciate being shouted out on this podcast. Did 14er. Well, Brad, I'll say Brad. Brad's cool. And then the other people, you're not listening to this. We hiked a 14er. God, this was like right after Kelly and I both started going to Colorado.
So you're probably like 19 or something.
I maybe just turned, or is about to turn 20 probably.
Yeah.
We went and we camped at this 14er. I can't remember which one it was. Mount. It doesn't matter. But we went and camped this 14er and we were so unprepared. Brad was an Eagle Scout when he was a little kid. So he was like, Kelly and I were like, all right, man, we'll go grab some firewood and shit. And Brad's like, nah, I like to get my firewood from like the world. And so we were like, you were an Eagle Scout.
Oh, so you guys were gonna like bring firewood with you?
Yeah,
like buy it
Brad-
at like a gas station or something.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
Brad was like, we were gonna
Yeah, no, I
scavenge
see what you're
for it,
saying.
but
I
that's
see what
what
you're
we were saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Like go to Target or whatever.
Yeah.
And
like a civilized person.
yeah, Brad was like, no, we're gonna find it. And it fucking rained up there all week before we got there,
Ooh.
so all the wood was wet, so we could barely get a fire going.
Oh,
And it got so cold that night because you're at elevation already at the base camp.
right.
And it got so cold that Kelly was like using, Kelly, of course, didn't have a sleeping bag. So Kelly's using Brad's dog as a blanket for warmth. And then we hiked the 14er and it was not fun. It was a bad time
yeah.
because it's high as fuck. Like
Yeah, 14.
It's like
it's 14
it's
high.
3 miles in the sky. You know, it's crazy. Like it's just, it was a lot, but I can say I did it, which is
Yeah.
cool. You know, would I do it again? No. There's one you can drive up. I would do that shit for sure. Drive up the 14er. There's one with a road
Oh,
along
sweet.
the whole
Yeah,
way.
just do that.
Yeah,
We have
right.
cars.
Yeah.
It goes all the way up.
Yeah,
Wow.
I can't remember which one though.
That's pretty cool. What I really liked in Colorado, we went whitewater rafting. Have
That,
you ever done
that
that?
always looked so fun. I thought.
It's so pretty because you're basically through like a canyon the whole time. So we did that, and it's just beautiful. And then it's thrilling enough. Like every once in a while, you're like, "Ooh."
Yeah, sure,
But then most of the time, you're just like chilling, sitting there.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That it always looked really fun. And then there's I love how this is just starting to us being like, you know what's cool in Colorado? The Sand Dunes National Park.
I've never been there.
Oh, that's cool. Max, have you ever done that? Dude, it's awesome. It's like they explained it to me how it worked. I can't remember. It's kind of like I'd say south near like Telluride kind of, but not really. But that's like I was in Telluride and then went there.
Yeah.
Something with the wind, how it meets the mountains, all the sand collects there, and you could like rent surf or
Like
snowboards
sandboarding
and shit,
stuff?
and you like sandboard down. And it was
Wow.
so fun.
That
It was
sounds
really cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
You ever-
Colorado.
You ever
man.
done indoor skydiving?
Once? It was
Sucks.
really fun.
It was fun.
I had a good time with it.
I had fun, but I was also like, because I did it with a work event, and I think it's like super expensive if you have to pay for yourself.
It is.
And then, but it was cool. But they just like, it was kind of funny. They like spin you around and stuff.
Yeah,
when you do it.
yeah.
You're like, ooh.
It's kind of sick.
Yeah.
Have you done outdoor skydiving?
No, would you
Let's do it this weekend.
this weekend? That'd
Yeah.
be hilarious.
We like rent a
Yeah.
car and go
I
like
was
2
actually
hours
talking
east.
about skydiving potentially.
I
like,
would do it.
I would do it, but I don't have like a strong desire.
That's where
like
I'm
if I
at.
died without skydive, it's not like I have to skydive.
Yeah,
you know, before I die.
if the
or whatever.
opportunity presented itself, I'd be like, sure. But am I like creating the opportunity?
Yeah, like if one of my friends really wanted to go and was like, "Will you go with me?" and
Yeah.
they organized everything, I would definitely do it
For sure.
But yeah, I
don't,
wouldn't
like,
seek it out.
wake up every day and be like, I can't believe another day where I've yet to skydive.
Yeah. Do you remember? Did you watch the Power Rangers when you were a kid?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
There was this. I think it was in the first. Did you watch like the Power Rangers movie?
Yeah.
And it had Ivan Ooze. You remember that bad guy? And then there's Zordon, the big floating head dude.
Yeah, I know Zordon. I don't remember Ivan Ooze. I'm
yeah,
sure
he
if I
was like
saw
the
him.
antagonist of the original Power Rangers
Sure.
movie. But anyway, there's this scene like right at the beginning of the movie. I think it's in this one where one of the dudes jumps out of the plane and he's like skydiving, but he has like a snowboard like on his feet.
That's so
he's like
like
sky-
late 90s
Yeah,
cool.
He was like skyboarding, and I was like, "That's the coolest thing."
it's
in
like
the world.
when like we first discovered that action sports existed, you know. Did when at Durham, did the Power Rangers come to career day at Durham?
You guys got the Power Rangers?
Well, apparently,
Dude, that's
like
not fair.
the green and the pink ranger,
Oh yeah, they
were
had
like a couple.
her
and
daughter
they like
was, like, the
lived
grade
in our
above us,
school
right?
district. Yeah, I don't
Their
know
daughter.
what grade she was in, but they like
yeah,
came
yeah,
to our
we knew her
career day.
daughter. Their daughter.
Which one? Who was? Oh, I guess. It's
Yeah, we'll
probably
talk
best
about
not
it
to say.
later. Yeah.
I don't remember who their kid was, but I remember like going to acting at career day, and it was the Power Rangers.
Oh man, no, they didn't come. Man, that
Yeah, they came to our
because I
career
knew
day.
that they were there, and I'm like, that is sweet.
yeah, they
we
came.
loved Power Rangers.
I went to that one, and my other favorite one to always go to every year was Youth Pastor with the Whitechapel Youth Ministers. 'Cause,
Oh yeah,
dude, I wanted to be a youth pastor when I was like in middle school. Could you
Wow.
imagine?
I think you'd be a good pastor.
I honestly think
You're
like,
kind of scratching the same itch with stand up.
I feel like it was me saying I wanted to do stand up without admitting to
Yeah,
myself I
yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
do stand up
That's
because I was
funny.
like, I want to perform. Look how funny the youth pastors are. They're getting so many laughs. I want to I want to talk about God.
What I was actually talking to someone about this recently. You remember they had like the whole dare thing,
yeah.
and you would wear like the wristbands and like say you wouldn't do drugs and
Mhm.
all that. I remember this one time, I think it was at Durham, they had like it was during that time, and they had this outdoor event where they had these like dudes come in and they had like BMX bikes, and they set up this big bike ramp, and then they were also giving like motivational speeches about why you shouldn't do drugs.
That's
And then
awesome.
I remember the guy, the grand finale or whatever, he was gonna do a backflip, and he was like, "Yeah, say you guys won't do drugs, and I'm gonna do this backflip." And we were like, "Yeah!" And then he did a backflip, and you're like, "No drugs."
How funny would it have
It's
been
so
if he
funny.
fucking fucked up to
Yeah.
that?
There's just like a crack epidemic at our elementary school.
If I fuck up this backflip, Coke's on me.
Yeah.
Should we wrap this one up?
Yeah.
All right. Anything you want to say?
No, I think we discussed it all.
Okay.
That's
Well,
the name of the podcast.
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. This is my friend's basement in New York City. If you guys also want to start a podcast for the group chat, I recommend doing it here. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye.
I don't know why I was waving at the clock instead of the camera.